if anybody's in the house. Do. This is Derek Father-in-law with the Medicine Shell. I teach Igbo spirituality known as Odinala Ndi Igbo here on the Medicine Shell. This is Ask Me Anything. I don't see a damn name or anybody here so far. So if you're here in the chat and it's just not showing me, let me know. If you are in the chat, let me know. If it's gonna be just me today, we'll see. Anyways, we'll see. Do. We are live. So today is Ask Me Anything for those who are new. Whatever questions you guys ask me, I will answer. Any topics you bring up, I'll give it. We'll discuss it. Um, I primarily teach Odinala and Igbo, which is Igbo spirituality, ancestral spirituality, ancestral thoughts, ancestral cosmology. If this is a topic that's interesting to you, join the movement, join the village, patreon.com/the medicine shell. Right now, we are signing up for the traditional, my bad, the Igbo language class. We are signing up for our Igbo language class, our summer session for the Igbo language class. If you have told yourself you're going to learn Igbo this year, the summer is always the best time. Join at www.keru.me. Otherwise, if you're a patron at the highest tier, you can step into the class for free. Those of you who are at the highest tier, let me know because classes are filling up. I think we have 4 seats left right now. I think we have 4 seats left right now. So if you are at the highest tier and you want to sign up, let me know. If you are not on Patreon but you want to sign up, this is the time. So between now and this coming weekend, the next weekend, then this would be the best time to sign up. If you need me to reserve a seat for you, like you're going to sign up for sure, but just now isn't the time, message me on any platform. My email address is in the description. Um, Message me on any platform and I'll see if I can do that for you. Udo. This is Ask Me Anything. As long as you guys are asking questions, I'm here. Once you're done asking, I go. I hope I didn't turn the chat off or something. If you're in the room, let me know that you guys can hear me or that the chat is working. Let me know that you guys can hear me or that the say, okay, SC, there we go. Did every man with a compound even have the status of their ancestors? And there will be, wow, there we go. The questions are coming. Udo. All right, so we're going to start answering the questions once we get, today looks slow, so, and I want to get to the point. So once we get 5 people, once I said the word 5, we got to 4. Okay, let's make it 10. Once we get 10 people in here, I'll go ahead and start answering questions. Who is all in the house? Where are we all checking in from? SC, always good to see your name in the chat. Udo one day. Once we get 10 people, we're going to go ahead and get started. Udo one day. That means if you're in the chat, take the link, share it on the WhatsApp group, share it on the Facebook group, share it wherever you can. Share it on Instagram, share it wherever. See if we can get people who are interested in these topics. That's ancestral cosmology and spirituality. In the chat. So NYC is in the house. NYC is in the house. NYC is Udo one day. Udo. I've been to New York 2 times. I've listened to so much New York rap growing up that it was funny for me going to New York and seeing that all those streets they always mentioned in the songs were real. And on the surface level, of course, it's real, but once you start seeing the sign, it's like, oh, he's really rapping about that building right there, right? So now I love New York. I'll do my. Once we get 10 people in here, we're gonna go. I'm good. Just came back from the Kendrick concert in LA. Oh, really? How did it go? What was that like? My brothers went to the pop up. My 2 brothers went to the pop up. How was the Kendrick concert? How was the Kendrick concert? Jamaica Queens. All right, in the building. I think Jamaica, I think you have to go through Jamaica to get to the airport. I don't know New York like that. So I do think I went through Jamaica. So it was amazing. I'll do my Jashike. Whenever I get the chance, I can't do anything concert. I can't even go watch movies, nothing until the end of this year, right? Until the end of this year. I am in a part of the world where I don't want these folks babysitting my kids. So once I get back to my normal town, my normal city, then I'll be more out and about. Unreal, the energy was high. We're doing one. That's dope. That's dope. Yeah, my brothers went to the pop up. They said it was like a movie. They said it was crazy. So yeah, he say. All right, so we've got 4. Once we get 10 in here, we're gonna go ahead and begin. Adema, I might move it to 5. The worst part is once we start, all of a sudden everybody comes in. So I don't know how they know that the thing has started or what. So we're at 6. Jashikeno, Adema. All right, so the energy was amazing. SC, what's new with you? Who else is in the house? I'm trying to see some familiar faces. Who else is in the house? We are at 7. We are at 7. Those of you who are on Patreon, our last group study, of course, if you were there, it was cut short. But I only have one more thing to say. So I'm going to be making a video just for Patreon. That's going to be sharing that thing. And then I'll also be uploading the replay very soon. And then the next video on the channel is going to be on our ancestral form of government. Our ancestral form of government, right? This is more of a socio-political video. So I fall in the house. Hey, I fall one day. Hey, Jashikeno. It's good seeing you. It's good seeing you. Yeah, so the next government's on our traditional form of government, how that worked and so forth. Um, and then yeah, and then after that, I have an idea, something I want to start trying, but we'll see. You guys, I tried the first idea I had, I was talking about earlier, was just shooting me talking instead of like having all the stuff. That was, you guys received that well, so I'm gonna keep doing that. And I got another idea to add on top of that. So I'll do if we get 2 more people, we're gonna go ahead and begin. We need 2 more people to go ahead and begin. Everybody, I hope you guys have topics and questions because I definitely want to talk to you guys today. I'll do but yeah, concerts, movies. It's pretty clear to me I'm not going to be doing that for at least a couple of months until I move back to Texas. Until I get back to Texas, because yeah, we can't find no damn babysitters and we don't trust nobody. All right, we have hit 10 people. He said, who's coming to the live? He say. All right, let's go ahead and begin. Where are you from, bro? I'm from the land of Umokwe in a town called Awomama in Nigeria. I'm from Umokwe in Awomama in the country you know as Nigeria. So that's where I'm from. As far as the United States, I'm from, let's just say I'm from the general Midwest, right? But I'm normally stationed in Texas. So let me go ahead and begin, all right? Okikekerowa. Alabwala, ọkpụniche, mmadụ na mmụọ, ọfọ na ogwu, ụmụ gị abịala, ha jikwere obiọma na-ekele ụmụ ndị eke, ndị orie, ndị afọ na ndị nkwọ, na-ekele ndị mbụ na ndị egede, ndị mmadụ na ndị mmụọ, ha jikwere obiọma na-ekelekwe mmụọ na-esoro anyị na mmụọ anyị ga-afụ ebe anyị na-aga. Ọwụ udo ka anyị ji aga, ọwụ ọfọ ka anyị ji aga, ọwụ ugwu ka anyị ji aga. A ga-aga ije Chineke kere ka anyị gaa n'ụwa. Tụ a ka ọ ga-adị n'eke na orie na afọ na nkwọ ise. All right, let's go ahead and begin. So the first question somebody had was, did every man with a compound in Igbo land have status of their ancestors in their OB? Damn, that is a good question. Yes and no. Yes and no. So your ancestors have status amongst each other, if that makes sense. So once you are the person in the OB, you are at least of equal footing, or like, no, I don't know about equal footing, but you're the person who speaks to them on behalf of the family, right? You're the priest of the family. The term in the past was dibia ulo, right? You're the medium, the ancestral communicator for the family, right? But a man in his own OB, it has that status, but then there's like a titled status, right? And then there's the regular status. So you have regular status, and then if you have a title, you now have title status, which makes you equal to the higher, your greatest ancestors, right? Makes you equal to your greatest ancestors. But that is a really good question. It's a really good question, and to an extent, yes. So yes and no, but it's more of like a regular ancestor status. Then the ancestor official status is the title taking. Oh, that was a really good question. Hello, 35K some subscriber complete. Hey, can we delete this person? I don't even know what they're talking about. Who 99 Sports can I don't here, I'll do it. Where's Phoenix? Hold on. Remove. Fuck out of here. Wait, no, that's not how you do it. Hey, no, I know you're asking me how I'm doing, but it's too late. You're about to get banned. Um, hide user on this channel. Put in time. I'll put you in timeout. All right. 24-hour timeout. All right. Okay. All right. So that was the first question we had, guys. Once the topics and questions run out, I'm out of here. So if you guys have something you want to discuss or just random general stuff, right? We just talked about Kendrick Lamar. What else do we got? Somebody asked me where I was from. It's kind of random. I didn't said, oh shoot. Do you have stories of Igbo nomads, travelers, or explorers? No nomads. No nomads. We are a sedentary agriculturalist people, so no nomads. The behavior would be seen as very abnormal. Um, Travelers, explorers, absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. So there's this general idea that Igbo people travel a lot, right? That it's common for Igbo people to it's just almost like a rite of passage that once you hit adulthood, you just go somewhere else, right? Um, and people think that there's an idea that this started after the Biafra Civil War, but the truth is this has been happening for thousands of years. And I have a map. If you're on Patreon, message me if you want to see the map. But I have a map of all the trade routes from back in the day, and they go like past Yoruba land into like Benin, Togo. Some of them go into Congo and so forth. A lot of the Ekbe society, what made them unique was their tendency to travel, right? So Ekbe society, people say it comes from the Cross River region, but it actually comes from Congo, from Central Africa. And so there's established travel back and forth between there and Congo, a lot of boat travel. The Europeans, one of the Europeans, when they arrived, said that there was as much boat traffic on the rivers of Igbo land as there was in the whole northern, no, what is it called, like the Scandinavian area of Europe, the ocean between Scandinavia, or ocean, the water between Scandinavia and Central Europe. And so a lot of boat travel, but if you look at a lot of the Ekpe masquerades, you'll see that they allude to a lot of travel. I mean, I can go on and on about this particular topic, but yeah, absolutely. A lot of travel, a lot of it is documented in the masquerade traditions. Um, what else? Nri, the priests of Nri, notorious travelers. The priests, not the priests, sorry, the smiths of Oka, notorious travelers. Nkwere, right? The smiths of Nkwere are notorious travelers. So throughout West Africa, everywhere you go, not even West Africa, throughout Africa, everywhere you go, you see an Igbo person. There was in the first like around like right before independence, there was a civil war that broke out in Congo, and the bulk of the UN mission was comprised of like Nigeria and Nigerians. And Obasanjo, President Obasanjo, he has a book. I think I have the book here. I think I have the book here. Anyways, in his book, I don't have the book, but a lot of you guys will probably know what book I'm talking about because it's Nzog. He said that when they got to Congo, they got to a remote village and there were Igbo people there, and he found that really hilarious. So Igbo people travel notoriously, a lot of exploration. A lot of it is preserved in the masquerade traditions. When you see masquerade traditions that have like boats that allude to boats and things like that. Um, a lot of those are being held by secret societies of travelers and explorers and long distance traders. So it's been normal. But nomads, no. Nomads, absolutely not. Statues like carvings in their likeness. Wait, statues like carvings in their likeness of their ancestors. SC, can you elaborate on what you said there? T Wolves and six, bro. Hey, I don't know if you're alluding to the finals. I have not watched 1 second of basketball in 2 years. And it's not something I've done on purpose, right? It's not something I've done on purpose. I just haven't watched 1 second of basketball in the past 2 years. So I don't know who's in the finals. I don't know what's going on whatsoever. If it's T Wolves in six, then it's T Wolves in six, right? Oh, damn. All right. I want to know how to know so much. Hashtag goal. Your brain is carrying a lot. Stories, please. I want to know how you know so much. It's Ago. It's Ago. It's not me. It's Ago, right? It's Ago. Once I start talking about things that have nothing to do with my Ago, then I start, you'll know it's not me. But yeah, it's not me. It's Ago, right? It's Ago. Whatever it is that your Ago gives you, it'll just come out like water, right? It's not a big deal for you. It'll be a big deal for other people. Do only in DBS install their Argon? Damn, no, no. Such a good question. Thank you. No. Every single person who is embracing their purpose could install their Argon. Every single person who is embracing their purpose could install their Argon. Um, if and it's interesting because when people install their Agno, it's usually tied around like what they do with their hands and what they do for the world, right? And so you'll see people install theirs in like their workshops. You'll see people install theirs in their farms. You'll see people install theirs on, just whatever it is that that space that you actualize your purpose, right? That space. I always talk about on here. I've in the past I've talked about how in Odinala Ndi Igbo, your workspace is sacred, right? Your workspace is a sacred space. Your workspace is a shrine, right? It's an arushi. It's the source of works. It's literally what the arushi means. And one of the things that makes it sacred is that that would be a place where you would install your ago. So it is anybody who's ready to embrace their purpose, right? For a dibia, it's a must, though. It's a must. Everybody else is kind of optional. Oh, in a man's ubi, wasn't there statues of carving on one's ancestors there? Yeah, there could be. What was more common in like the time I'm super familiar with, which is like the early 1900s and so forth, 1800s. What was super common was okay, so when you receive an ikenga, you get two. You get ikenga mad, which is shaped like a person, and ikenga mo, which still has the horns like the ikenga mado. But ikenga mo is the spirit ikenga. Ikenga mado is the personal ikenga. And what happens when a person passes away, their ikenga is cut in half and buried with them or sometimes disposed of. But the ikenga mo, the base is cut and it's preserved for your to be used to represent you for your descendants and so forth. So the person that inherits the OB will have representations of every single ancestor. Now that Ikenga method is not standard. Different people have different things. I've seen people that use bells for each ancestor, and this is like old. So they'll use bells for each ancestor, and when they call their name, they pick it up and they hit the bell, they ring the bell. I have seen pots used for ancestors. I have seen like humanoid figurines, statues used for ancestors. You can do whatever you want within DOB, but usually there's a protocol just depending, and it depends on the family. But one of the ones that's common is the use of the your ikenga more, your spiritual ikenga, and keeping it in DOB and so forth. That's a good ass question though. Thank you for that. Um, do only DBS okay? Jesus Christ died for man. You shut your bitch ass up, bro. Yo, shut your bitch ass up. All right, guys, where are the questions at? Where are the topics at, right? Don't make me go back on TikTok. They won't shut up about papoose. Papoose on there, so I want to stay here with you guys where I have peace of mind. I'll do my Jashika, Jashika. All right. I'm just trying to see if I missed any questions as well. You guys seem really chill today. Mhm. Uh-huh. Okay, I see how some throw RG with their morning prayers. Is it good common practice to consult more routinely throw all. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's you're giving it, right? You're giving it. So some people give by throwing. Some people put it down gently. So it's just how much finesse you want to throw into what you're doing, right? So that throwing is fine. Throwing is fine. Ademma. Even with Christian literature, though, look at the numerology. 3 days. Monica, ndewo, ndewo. Amaka, ndewo. Cool, 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 cool. I'm trying to see what SC is saying with the numerology. Even with Christian literature, though, look at the numerology. 3 days. SC, can you elaborate on that? That's interesting. Orbit Ray, ndewo. DJ Duval, ndewo. Like to regularly ask questions about the day. Okay, Dan, I'm trying to get context for what you're saying. I see some people throw their algae in the morning. Morning prayers, good common practice to consult more. Okay, and routinely throw algae and so on and so forth. Yeah, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's, in fact, it's smart, right? It's smart. Yeah, ask anything you want to your ancestors and so forth. It's arbitrary. Oh, okay, all right, clever. But yeah, no. What was I talking about? Yeah, Dana, that's to ask daily. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and ask daily. I don't know. I mean, okay, to ask how each day is gonna be. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good idea. Right? That's a good idea. So, Dana, when you ask questions, how do you typically receive your answers? If you don't mind me asking. How do you typically receive your answers? Oh, like to divine as a part of your morning ritual. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's that a lot of people do it. In fact, when you break RG, I know that Dibia Uzo has taught you guys by now how to read the kola nut. Like when you break it, you can divine just by breaking it, and each lobe will tell you something, right? Based on the shape. I think he's already taught you guys that now, or he's gonna teach it later. Dreams and signs. Oh, Dema. Yeah, cool. Dema. Mine is dreams, signs, same thing. So yeah. And then my own intuition as well. People put a lot of emphasis on using tools to connect with spirits, but what about just coming as you are? Would the connection not be as strong? Some people don't have access to alligator pepper, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, you can come as you are. You can come as you are. So one of the things about Odinala and probably ATRs in general is that you are embodying a tradition, right? That's why there's so many little physical pieces. You're embodying a tradition, right? And so ideally, the more you figure out about the tradition, the more knowledge and ability you'll have to be able to embody that tradition. But it's not by force, right? You can just speak, you can just do what you do, right? What matters most is what works, okay? What matters most is what works. And I'm going to be talking about this a lot, um, probably for years, because I think we shift away from that. And that's not how our ancestors did it, right? So if you got the alligator pepper and the cola and blah, and it's not working, and then you just come as you are and it works, do the one that works. Your chi is the one that has the answers, and what works is what your chi gave you. Ademma. Can you talk about the chi? I was looking at the old video. You gave the analogy of the watering hole. Can you refill the chi? No, you cannot refill the chi. I'll answer that arbitrary. I'll answer that in a minute. At least offer water, honestly, if nothing else. And then let me also answer that when you're offering, right, you have to understand what's being done. You have to understand what's being done in the process. It's not like it's not like tools or like you click this button and that happens. You understand? It's that in this tradition, you are embodying a tradition. And in that tradition, you do not visit people empty-handed. Okay? In that tradition, you don't visit people empty-handed. You understand? right? So if I'm visiting, at least if I have respect for myself, if I'm visiting somebody in my tradition, I'm supposed to bring something. You understand? Um, I have an uncle-in-law who just has a wall of alcohol because people always bring him bottles, right? And so you people bring him bottles and things like that. At the same time, you don't leave your guests empty-handed, right? At the same time, when you begin a meeting, when you begin a proper meeting or a formal, not even a formal meeting, when you begin a meeting the proper way in this tradition, you break cola, right? You break cola, you give the get the hosts will break cola and everybody will receive a piece. So what you're doing is you're having you're visiting your ancestors and having a conversation. Okay, if you're visiting your ancestors and having a conversation, there's a way within the tradition that that is done. Okay, just like there's a way in the American tradition that things are done. Right? I can walk in the door and be like, hey, Ethel, hey, Bob, that kind of thing. That's okay. That's how you guys do it. That's how Americans do it. There's a way it's done in this tradition. And if you're connecting to your ancestors, you connect to your ancestors by embodying your ancestors. So you visit the way they visited. You communicate the way they communicated. You give the way they gave. Okay. Being Igbo is very expensive, right? So if you are if the idea of bringing stuff is daunting, trust me, we go through it, right? Me as a man now, I got to donate. Not I got to, I want to. So I donate to my family meeting. I got to bring something when I go places. Bride price will break your damn neck if you're trying to get married, right? Flight tickets are ridiculous to Nigeria. So yeah, just it's how we exist, but we're not shaking, right? Ademma. And then I had another question. Arbitrary said, "Can you talk about the chi? I was looking into your old video. You have an analogy of the watering hole. Absolutely. So, in fundamentally, if you want to understand the chi, you have to understand that the entire all of existence is a singular being, right? It's a singular being with two faces. It has chi, it has eke, right? The chi is the thing that precedes creation. It's the thing that creation comes from. It's the thing that guides creation. It is, yeah, that kind of thing, right? And so all of creation is built in the image of the creator, is a reflection of the creator. It is a parcel of the creator. And as a parcel of the creator, you also have a parcel of the creator within you, if that makes sense, right? It's just like now, if I have a cup of coffee and I put sugar, or I'm sorry, if I put coffee and I put water into it, every single cup I pour this same coffee and water into is going to have a little bit of coffee, a little bit of water. So you have a little bit of creator in you, a little bit of creation in you. It is not something that your chi is not something that you refill or fill. It is it is your divine self. That's the best way to put it. It is your divine self. It is your ultimate self. It is your true self. It is your true self. It is you as creator, right? You as creator, and then there's you as creation. So it's not something you refill, it's something that you embrace. It is something that you embrace. Your capacity to embrace it will grow over time if you are on the right path. It is not something that you understand at once. It is something that you are constantly learning and communicating with. And your chi is also not something that is distant or mysterious. It's the thing that's flowing through you every day. It's the thing that's waking you up. It's the thing that says you love this, you hate that. It's the thing that inspires you. It's the thing that moves you from left to right. It's the thing that gives you joy. It's the thing that pisses you off, right? Right? So yeah, you're an expression of the universe in its most divine form. And that is the chi. That is the chi. So thank you. The chi is not empty. It does not need maintenance. It does not need maintenance. Exactly. Well said. Please review the difference between the chi and chihuahua. Well done. Sometimes I feel they are different, and sometimes I feel good. Good. That's a good question. Okay, good, good, good. Right. So your chihuahua. I try not to use the phrase chihuahua because the confusion kicks in. Right. So I wish I could draw like a little diagram or something. I want to draw for you guys. Let me see if my marker boards are around. They are not. So, all right, no pictures. So, oh wait, I got paper. So you have this thing known as your chi, which is your divinity, right? Your divinity. And your divine self creates you, right? It creates you, it brings you into existence, right? But it has a purpose that it brought you into existence with. It has there's a reason. There's a reason that you exist. And there's a story that is unraveling by way of you existing and you actualizing and you living your life and being true to yourself and so forth. There's something unraveling in doing that. Now, as anything that the chi sends or creates, it puts this thing that guides it, or it has a guide. It gives that thing a guide, which is known as agon. Okay, so I'm going to do, let's say, agon. Oh, that isn't right anymore. I'm going to do a diagram. So it's this thing that is known as agon. Now, agon is the consciousness of your chi. It is the mind of your chi. You understand? So in order for you to actualize this thing that it is sending you to do, right? That it's sending you to do, of course you have to have the plan. So the mind of your chi, the mind of chi is agon. And you have a little bit of the consciousness, right? The divine consciousness. You have a little bit of that, not even a little bit. You have the divine consciousness in you, right? Because again, all the ingredients I make this coffee out of, if I pour it into different little cups, it's going to have all the ingredients in it, right? So one of the ingredients that the chi has is consciousness. And that divine consciousness is guiding you through your purpose. Now, there's your divine consciousness, which is agon, right? Which is agon, your agon. And then you have this other thing called your worldly consciousness, which is agua, which we can talk about that on a different question, right? If you guys want to know about agua, let me know. But I know that's not what you're referring to, right? So your agun is not your chi, right? Your agun is not your chi. Your agun is the consciousness of your chi that follows you into the world. You understand, right? Just like if I'm moving my hand, right? If I'm moving my hand, if you're familiar with like neurology and stuff, my brain is sending little synapses to my finger that is making it do what it is supposed to do, that is making it do what it is supposed to do, right? My brain says, hey, I want you to reach up, and then it sends these things, its own consciousness into my finger, and then I reach up. It is the same way that the universe works. That creator is sending its consciousness into you, and that is your agon. That consciousness not only knows why you were sent into the world, it also let me say it this way, it's coming in there with the highest level of awareness of why you exist, of why you're here, and so forth. It also is equipped with everything you need to do the thing that you were, or not do the thing, to be the person you came into the world to be. One of my favorite ilu on planet Earth is when the chi of a blind man sends him into battle, he has already accounted for it, has already accounted for his blindness. Meaning that if your chi says you're blind, your chi says, okay, I need you to go and I don't know, win World War III. And you go, I'm blind, I can't win World War III. Your chi knows why it sent you to go do that thing, right? And you're already gonna win. Just go do it. You understand? Just go do it. Okay. So the reason that agon gets confusing is because agun, no, I can't be writing that crazy. Okay, hold on. Let's do chi owa. Agun is also referred to as chiwa. Now think of what I said earlier. If I have all these electrical things happening in my brain and I want to move my hand, and then my hand sends those impulses to my brain, or to my brain sends those impulses to my hand to do that thing, right? That means that the consciousness that my hand is using to do it is local in my hand now. Does that make sense? Let me know if that doesn't make sense, right? So my hand, the thought, and then that thought enters my hand, and now the thought is in my hand doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. The reason it's called Chihuahua is because Agon is like your chi in the world, your worldly chi, the chi that follows you into the world. Does that make sense? Right? The Chihuahua, the chi that follows you into the world. Okay. And so Agon has three names. Okay. I just felt like drawing. So these are the three names that we refer to Agon as, right? Agon is that the consciousness of your chi, right? Ignore my handwriting. Agon is the consciousness of your chi, right? We call it Chihuahua because it gets sent into the world to do what the chi needs it to do or to be. I don't like saying do because it's almost like I came into the world to be a mechanic. Like that's not how it works, right? So to be, it gets sent into the world to be what the chi brought it into the world to be. Okay, your Aghon gets sent into the world to actualize something. Your Aghon gets sent into the world to do something. When we call it Chihuahua, we're referring to it as my chi on this in this world, the chi that's moving me and guiding me in this world right now, right? Sent by the original one, but it's here doing its helping me do my thing here, right? We also refer to it as Elo. Now, the reason we call it Elo is Elo means the return. Elo, return. Specifically, Onyilo, right? The reason we call it that is once your Agon comes into the world to do something. Okay, let's put it this way. Once your Agon comes into the world to do something, as your Chihuahua, right? And you pass away, it will go and it will come back into another child. And that child will grow and continue the next chapter of the actualization that the previous chapter did. Okay? So the term Elo refers to that returning nature of Agon. All of this is Agon. All these different names describe the different things Agon is doing, right? And again, back to the synapses. I have all this electricity happening in my brain. I say, hand, I want you to do this. It sends the message over here. I do this, and it actually sends the impulse back. And then I send it again. Okay, now that you've done that, I want you to pat the back, that kind of thing, right? So Onyila continues to return, right? Your chi uwa in Christian terms, right? Most of us are familiar with Christianity. I have heard, I don't like doing this, but I have heard people refer to your chiwa as your soul. And your soul is not the same thing as your God, if that makes sense. Okay, your chi is closer to your God, your chiwa is closer to your soul. I understand. We just have the understanding that the soul returns back into the world into another person, another person, another person. Okay. So I hope that made sense, right? Let me know if there's any questions that come up from that because I try to be as clear as I could. Someone said they're the same. Okay, sounds like they're the same. Okay. Are there herbs specific to Odinani that help with lucid dreaming, communication with ancestors? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to do a video that shares a little bit on psychedelics. Um, Not psychedelics, but just like different herbs and what they do. But yeah, 1000%, right? 1000%. Yes, absolutely. Makes sense. Thank you. Can someone do Iwaji at the village if his father resides in the city, or do Iwaji at home while the father stays together with him, but he's a Christian? If your father refuses, right? Typically, if your father can pass the honor down to you, right? So if your father has already naturally refused, then you have to take the mantle. There's an ilu that says it's not always the first son that buries his father, right? It's not always the first son that buries his father. So if my parents pass, I would pay for everything. I'm expected to fund the funeral because I'm the first son. But that ilu says sometimes, let's say I'm not capable and my sister does it or one of my younger brothers do it, so be it, right? So if he has passed on that, if he's passed on it for you, then you're going to go ahead and do it. Now, I'm curious as to why logically, I don't know about these new Nigerians, bro. Well, I don't know what's so scary about it to him, right? I don't know what scares him about it, but are you sure he refuses to do it? Are you sure? If he's in the same town as you, okay, if he's not in the immediate vicinity, then you have to do it. It's only when you're in the same room as him that you would pass the honor to him. And then if he doesn't want to do it, he passes the honor back to you. If you guys are not in the same room, you can do whatever you want. It's only when you're in the same area, same vicinity, okay, that you pass the honor to him. Okay. If you are personally communicating with your ancestors, then it's just you and you don't have to do that. That's not, that doesn't matter. But if he's in the same city as you, it doesn't matter, right? It's not like you're gonna wait until he comes back home so you can do it and so forth, right? You can do it. It's only when you're in the same vicinity, then you pass the honor over. Okay. But again, I don't know what he's scared of. I don't. Yeah. Chihuahua is closer to Agon. Chihuahua and Agon is the same thing. Chihuahua and Agon is the same thing. Yeah. So it's just a different phrase used to describe Agon. And sometimes when people say Chihuahua, they're referring to your past life self. That's why I don't use the term Chihuahua. It gets too confusing. Sometimes they say Chihuahua, they're referring to your past life self because you and that person share the same Agon. You and that person share the same agon. It's not that you're 100% that person coming back. It's just that agon, that your agon has been here before and it came in the form of that other person that is now here. Divination seeds, you can read the OG. Like, close up. Good. The ones with 4 seeds, that's what I mean. Where do you get them? People have been buying them online. I'm thinking about making them available, but I don't want to be doing warehousing. I don't want to hear that I sent somebody's shit late. Where do you go read about this? So there's a lot of really good books. Just you can look up Odinala, which is Igbo spirituality. Sometimes called Odinani. Odinani. All right. It's just dialect difference, not a big deal. I have a library on Patreon and it has like over 300 like documents, books, things like that. But if you're just starting, you just want to like read and have like a reading list in the Patreon. I have a recommended reading list. So it starts from like the easiest to understand or the most accessible to somebody who maybe didn't even grow up in the culture and things like that. And then it becomes more dense or more complex as the reading goes. So kind of just gradually you grow with the reading list. If you are on Patreon and you can't find that for some reason, just message me and I'll send you the link. On Okay. Chi is the same as Uri. Maybe. I don't know anything about Uri. I don't know anything about Uri. Monroe, nde one Dibia. Kedu. I don't know if you I don't know if you heard about Rev, like I'm not Christian. I don't know if you heard about Rev. Okay. I'm not Christian, but he talks about the 12 disciples are the 12 disciples of the God mind and reminds me of the chief from what I've learned. There's a lot of really interesting interpretations of Christianity. I think the Christianity everybody gets is like the most marketable because Christianity is designed to spread. That's the purpose of it, is to spread. The purpose of Islam is to spread, right? So the version everybody gets is the commercial, right? But if you really want to dig super deep, you do find some things, and then most all of it points back to what we're saying over here on the African continent because that's where a lot of those ideas come from, right? That's where a lot of those ideas come from. Okay. What the Stored in the turtle shell. No, chi does not equate Ori. Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything about Ori. Sometimes I hesitate with those one-to-one, like this is that, right? Even earlier when I was trying to explain like the soul and God, I'm not saying that Agon equals soul. I'm saying that Agon and the soul have the same relationship with the creator, right? They have this or similar relationships with the creator, where your soul is not the creator, but is this thing that your creator gives you and sends you, that kind of thing, right? But that's the only comparison. Let's not take it too far from there, right? I'll But yeah, I don't know anything about the Uri, so I can't say it's the Chi. Aurora, well, Aurora, we're signing up for Keduo. I hope you're coming to Igbo 3. I hope you're coming to Igbo 3. I hope you are coming to Igbo 3. So, where are we at? Where are good resources about umendo, breathing? There's this guy. Let me see if I still have battery on this laptop. There's this guy who talks about it, and I think he wrote a book. So let me find his stuff, and then I'll recommend it to you. All right, let's do umendo. There's a guy who I can't remember his name. He had a channel about it for a while. I don't know if he still makes content, but I think he has a book and then he has a channel. So let me, of course, everybody's coming with their bullshit. So the church always appropriates Odinala terms. So I'm getting a bunch of gospel things because umendu, I guess, is they're using it for something Christian. Hold on. I'm gonna keep looking for whoever this person is. I just can't remember his name. I don't remember names. But yeah, kind of like the sun as the source and the ray of the light. Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Your chihuahua is a ray of the consciousness of chi of your chi. Perfect. Very. Hey, Kristen Ike. That was a good one. That's why they call you Ike. Aurora Patreon Dropbox. Cool. Yeah, Diana. So Diana's referring to. So we had a boot camp on Alpha Divination. On Alpha Divination. Okay. Any of you guys that would be interested in that boot camp for Alpha Divination, message me on any platform you can. It is free for the traditional medicine class because it's theirs, right? But if other people want to come in, then you're gonna have to pay. But we talked about how to store your divination strings, right? Your apabala, which people keep in tortoise shell, not turtle, tortoise shell. Okay. Yeah, that's where the channel, that's where the medicine shell comes from. I'm referring to the tortoise shell that the apabala is kept. It is said that the highest form of afa is kept in the tortoise shell, right? So it's very often kept in the tortoise shell. Do Igbos have any issues with Igbo God? Yes, they do. So before I had a suspicion, but now I've confirmed they absolutely do use Igbo God. Yes. Or yes, we do. I'm saying yes, they do. Okay. All right. Somebody's message got deleted, so it's probably crazy. I was reading that some Mary DBS divine with bubbles, soaks, and water. Yeah. You can, Diana, you can divine with anything. You can divine with anything as long as you have found the answers to be reliable and true. You can divine with anything as long as you have found the answers to be reliable and true. So I do afa. I can do afa reading. I can do a reading. But instead of using apapala, I use a coin. Now it takes a long ass time to flip the coin in four sets of four, but I use that because it's binary, right? I activate it the same way that you would activate apapala, and then I do the same thing, all that, and I can do that. I've only done alpha for one person other than myself, right? And so, yeah. I use the Boga, not a fan. I'm not Black Panther. Monroe, how was the experience? What happened? Did you see anything? Did you connect to anything? Was it scary? When you did Iboga, what was the experience? Because I've seen on video, not in person, but I've seen when people take it and they're shaking and sweating and throwing up and all that stuff. So it's no joke. It's no joke. Creative Force and Day Wonder. You guys tap the little screen, tap the screen. I think that recommends that to people. Recommends the channel to people. I think. or tap the little heart thing. I don't know what they call it. It can affect your heart rate dramatically. Oh, okay, okay. So is that why you didn't like it then? That's scary. I can imagine that being scary. I'm not Black Panther. The power of the Black Panther has been stripped away. Odema. Odema. Yes, there we go. There's the hearts. Too much and you can have cardiac arrest. Damn. Okay. Odema. Odema. I would imagine. I haven't tried like ayahuasca. Or I haven't tried any psychedelics, but we'll see. We'll see. Uri means the head, but in the spiritual sense refers to your inner head or spiritual consciousness, the aspect of a person that chooses their destiny before birth in the spiritual realm. Honestly, that sounds like Ago. That sounds closer to Ago, but who knows? You know, Uri sounds closer to Ago. The purple, the purple heart shaped herb is basically bonga. It makes sense. That makes sense. Any etymological relation? No, I don't believe so. I don't believe so. It doesn't mean that there's not, but to my knowledge, I think it's from Central Africa, and Central African medicine has a reputation for strength, right? Not that there's not strong medicine everywhere else in Africa, but there are a lot of different things that come out of Central Africa that are very strong, and Igbo I think is one of them. And so, but the fact that it came to Igbo land, to my knowledge, I could be wrong. That I don't think there's a relation, right? There's no relation etymologically. I don't know if also don't know if it's Eboga or Iboga. If it's Iboga, then it's not. Then Igbo is Igbo, bo, and those are two B and B are two different letters, right? Heard it's related to pygmies. Yeah, we have stories in Odinani about Ndimbo or Umuoshi, sorry, Umuoshi, which were pygmies, the original people. The original people were pygmies, and they are the people who gave the world the spiritual sciences, the spiritual sciences, cosmology, all of that stuff. They got everything started for everybody. So if you see a lot of what you see depicted, if it looks scrunched, it's scrunched for a reason. It's supposed to be a pygmy. So Ikenga, a lot of Ikenga are that. A lot of awful are pygmies. A lot of, not even a lot, all of them. And then different cultures throughout West Africa, we all have the same story about pygmies with dreadlocks and that kind of thing. Cameroon has Bantu people. It's not that long of a trip. Yeah, exactly. Do. I think Nigeria has Bantu people too. I believe Cross River people, Tiv people are Bantu. Um, it's seen lasting spiritual growth come from disciplined practice and inner clarity, not altered. It seems lasting spiritual growth. Hey, it seems lasting spiritual growth comes from disciplined practice and inner clarity, not altered states. Yeah, I've never you've exactly, you know what I mean, and I'm more so into the first half, which is inner clarity, inner cleanliness, right? Inner cleanliness, inner clarity, and discipline, consistency. That's more appealing to me, right? But some people would consider that boring. So I haven't had any reason or need to do any psychedelics or anything like that. I get curious sometimes, but it's not that deep. Not, that kind of thing. And the answers I look for, the life will give them to me. You know, if it's not today, it's eventually. So, freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. Okay, it must be demanded by the oppressed. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Cool. I agree. What about forest spirits that are not pygmies? I'm not into substance or relaying or anything like that. Forest, yeah, there's forest spirits that aren't pygmies. There are some that are. It's just what that is. You know, our consciousness, our conscious helps us hear the voice of God. I agree. It helps us recognize truth about God and the truth about how we ought to live. Yeah, one of the things that Odinani helped me see was that um, that the voice of God, right? The voice of the Creator. It's not something that is rare or distant, right? It's not something that's rare or distant. It's right there. It's right there. It's always with you. And you see it in nature. You see it in yourself. You see it in the people around you. Sometimes it requires you to shift how you look at things. And I think that's the big adjustment that a lot of people are trying to make, is to shift the way you look at things, right? There's no such a thing as um, that distance, not believing in that distance, right? That kind of thing. That helps you see it within yourself and around you. So, my spiritual strength is reinforced through meditation, prayer, self inquiry, service, contemplation. Diana, yeah, that's why you're strong. You're very powerful. That's why. You are very powerful. One of the reasons I haven't made a video on like herbs and psychedelics is because I know what country I live in, right? I know what country I live in, right? So sometimes y'all need to chill out with that shit, you know? Y'all need to take it easy. You guys are trying to feel good all the damn time. Sometimes you need to feel bad. Where are we at? Is Mami Wata general to Igbo cosmology or for a specific region of Igbo land? It's general. It's general, right? General. For those who don't know, Mami Wata are water spirits, right? Water spirits. It's everybody says the same thing. If you go all the way to Gambia, if you go all the way to probably Mauritania, and all the way to South Africa, we're all saying the exact same thing about water spirits. Identical. We're also there's not one detail that one person is saying that the other one isn't saying, right? We're all saying the exact same thing, period, right? Um, yeah, so as far as Oru Igbo, right? It Oru Igbo people are Igbo people with a relationship, with a community relationship to water, right? A community relationship to water. So one of the things that makes a community Oru is sometimes the water is the owner of the land that you live on. And so instead of going to Allah, you go to Miri for the various things you'd go to Allah for. Now, if you understand Igbo culture, Allah is the highest, is the most important Abara in the entire, let's call it pantheon of the Abara. More than Chuku, more than Chuku, Allah is the most important one by far, by far. It's just recently that Chuku even started getting important, right? Uh, but there are some communities where instead of Allah, it's Nemiri. It's Nemiri. And that's usually tied to the fact that she is the mother of that community and she's the owner of the land that the community is on. My community is Uru. My community is Uru. Um, and yeah, and a lot of Uru communities, a lot of what they do is related to water. You'll see a lot more veneration of water spirits there. But it doesn't mean that they believe in it more than others. It just means because of who they are, it's a little more important. It's a little more important, right? Discussions like this are important. Never support structural barriers to free exchange of discourse. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I agree. I appreciate that. Saw depictions of some forest spirits that are albino. Yep. Small in Benin and Togo. How do Igbo people depict bush spirits? So when you see the albino spirits, that's albino, um, pygmy, all that. It's all in the same pantheon. It's all in the same group, right? A lot of the original pygmies were albino, and that's something that we understand very well, and we depict a lot of them that way as well. Um, yeah, we depict them that's roughly the same way. So, but not all of them are. We don't depict all of them as albino, just short, right? Just stout and short, same way, same kind of thing. People will say that they have dreadlocks. People will say that they're albino. Some people say that many of them are albino. There's this masquerade somewhere in Abia State. I found the video of it. I don't know where I kept it though. And it's this procession, and they're supposed to be in like they're supposed to be Omuoshi, and one of them is pink to depict the albino one, right? But the rest of them are like literally black, like black, like this charger black, right? So either very black or albino. That's the other way to put it. Uh, I've had some experience with the Momi Wata. I believe it. Rituals differ slightly, but yes, same tools. Cool, 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 cool. If the mind is its own place, what or how is it being accessed? Assessed? If the mind is its own place, what or how? Arbitrary. Can you ask that question again, like in different words? Yeah. Where are we at? We are all spirit beings, temporary, trapped in this body, flesh. Okay. Cognition. Our cognition is limited. So, I want to stop you there because there's this whole we're spirits trapped in bodies. We're spirits trapped in bodies. There's nothing Your body is not less sacred than your spirit. Your body is not less than your spirit. If your spirit was so big and bad, it wouldn't need your body to actualize, right? If your body was so big and bad, it wouldn't need your spirit to actualize. The two of them have to interweave. Okay, so you'll see that a lot of Eastern, like Asian, um, spiritual systems, religions, cosmologies. There's a lot of parallels with the African ones because we draw our conclusions from a similar place. But I think one of the key differences is they don't see the physical as sacred, and we do see the physical as sacred. So it's all about escaping the earth, escaping your body, getting away from the world, getting away from it. Like I said before, Allah is the most important, is the highest one. If you have to rank them, go ahead and put Allah up top. I don't rank them, but if you have to, if that's how your mind works, put Allah at top, right? The the reason for this, right? Or not the reason for this, but what this tells you is that what you get from Allah, the DNA, the structure, the self you get from Allah is your physical existence, right? And that part is just as sacred as any other part. Okay, it's just a sacred. So it's not that we don't see it at we're spirit beings trapped in a body. I think we are spirits that were fortunate enough to experience this thing called the earth by way of a body. We are bodies that are fortunate enough to experience consciousness by way of spirit, right? So that's kind of the way we see it. So, but yeah, I like your comment though, Ademma. I think a lot of the Eastern kind of way of thinking kind of influences a lot of like New Age spirituality. So I try to make sure I draw the distinction that the body, the physical is very, very, very sacred. That's why a lot of our traditions, like when you're engaging in the sacred, you also engage in it physically. Okay. You have to touch it. You have to touch something. You have to smell something. You have to see something. You have to hear something. You have to dance. You have to sing, right? You have to dance. You have to sing. You have to feel it. All facets of self, spirit and body, not just one. So, it's not trapped. There you go. We're done. I've seen marine spirits, albino, yellow dreadlocks, snake tails from Central Africa. Yeah, I believe it. That makes sense. Okay, but do we agree that the arc of the moral universe is long and chaotic, but it bends towards justice? Can you elaborate on what you're saying? Because I feel like that's a Trojan horse. I feel like there's something in there I don't agree with, right? And I know what it is, but I want to make sure I hear you clearly before I say I hear what you're saying. So you're saying that the arc of the universe is chaotic, but it bends towards justice, right? Can you elaborate on that? That's an interesting thought. I may not disagree. South Indian Hinduism and Tantra isn't about escape. It's trance based. They sacrifice animals too. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I know where the escape concept comes from, right? So it makes sense that South Indians don't have that concept, but it comes from nomadic cultures. And there's two types of cultures in the world. There are nomadic cultures and there are sedentary, agrarian cultures. And that in they see the world very different. That I've never there's no to my knowledge, there's no nomadic culture where the earth isn't an obstacle. It's something you traverse. The earth is something you traverse. In our culture, the earth is something you relate to. It's something you relate to. For a nomad, the earth is the thing between them and their destination. And so the nomadic cultures tend to frame their cosmology in a way where the earth, the physical body, women, uh, darkness, all these things, chaos, all these things are things you escape, you get away from, right? You escape, transition through. You don't belong here, right? What would give you the impression you don't belong here? Well, when I go outside, my skin starts burning. That's weird, isn't it? It's uncomfortable. There's no way I can be from here if that's what happens. When I go outside, the shit feels good, right? When I go outside, I don't know about y'all, but when I go outside, it feels really good. I start glowing, right? I start glowing. I look like goddamn Bruce Leroy, right? So my framing of the earth and the sun and my relationship with all these things is going to be different than a person who it hurts. It hurts to be outside, right? And it's really that simple. Um, when you dig way too deep into human history, you'll run into what I'm talking about. So, Earth people versus sky people. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Hey, Phoenix. Udo. Ndewo, ndewo, ndewo. Nah, nah, you came right on time. Uh, where are we going? So yeah, you see that in India. I wouldn't be surprised if South Indian Hinduism looks a lot more like what we do at home than the North Indian one that we're probably more familiar with, right? And if you know the history of the North Indian people and what happened over there and that kind of thing, you'll, oh, okay, that's why they're trying to get out of here, right? And I can get weird, like this gets weird, right? But in all those things, for some reason, there's an element of cow worship. And pay attention to that. It's gonna sound random, but it's there. You'll see it, right? Cow worship, right? Oh, you go to heaven, it's the land of milk and honey. Nigga, I'm lactose intolerant. I'm lactose intolerant, right? But what if I wasn't, right? Maybe that's heaven, sucking on a cow titty, you know? So human history, once you dig deep, you're like, yo, you start seeing a pattern. You start seeing a pattern. It's this very universal pattern. It's consistent. It's strange as hell. Strange. It's probably the most reliable historical predictor you'll find is that some people traverse the earth and some people are from the earth. That's what it is. That's what I've seen. So if you have a beautiful black body already, then there's nothing to escape. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying, right? Right? Just imagine you don't go to the gym, you're just muscled up. Damn, man, I gotta escape this, you know? Or black women, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I gotta get out of this. No. But what if you weren't like that? You know? What if you weren't like that? You know? He was living not go too far. Hey, shit, man. Is there okay? I was singing to my ancestors in my prayers today, and it definitely hit different. Yeah, I thought, hey, My daughter has confiscated my little bell. I would have rang it. Just I'll never find that bell again. But yeah, 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 yeah. Do listen. Do what hits. Do what hits when you go to speak to your ancestors, when you go to the river, when you go to the trees, when you go to wherever you go to. Do what hits. Let it once it hits, you're doing it correctly. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. Once it hits, you're doing it correctly. Mm-hmm. Aduma. Does your traditional religion believe that justice is both ethical and philosophical? I like this. That both justice. I love this. All right, let's go. All right. Does your traditional religion believe that justice is both ethical and philosophical idea that all people are to be treated impartially, fairly, properly, reasonable? Yeah. So in Odinani, the way our ancestors see it is that justice, this idea of justice, is an element of the best way I can explain it is justice itself is an element of nature. Justice is not a thing that human beings create. It is not really a thing that human beings control either. It is something that human beings aspire to actualize, whether they're aware of it or doing it on purpose or not. I'll use the I think it's not Plato. It is either Plato or Socrates. One of them has this idea of the idea of forms, right? The concept of forms, where if I say cup, we all know what we're referring to, but I can bring 1,000 cups that have nothing to do with each other. They all look different, but something tells us each of them are cup, because the idea of cup is an abstract form that we mold clay and glass to match, right? We try to match it as best as possible, but somewhere in the abstract, there's this thing called cup, and we know it when we see it, even though it can look different in many different forms. Justice is the same thing. Justice is an element of nature. Justice is a guiding force of nature. It's something that exists that we look for, right? We look for within self. We look for it in nature, right? If I That's justice. You understand? This is this is justice, right? All that stuff. Justice comes to us in the form of what is known as ofo na ugu. Ofo na ugu. Ofo na ugu, right? And the awful, I mean, we can talk forever about the awful, but one of the part about the awful I want to kind of talk about is that an awful is an agreement, right? So once an agreement is made, and a new awful stands, and if that agreement is kept, then it is you are okay. How do I put it? How do I put it? Let's do like the body, right? So the body has an immune system. You understand, right? Everything that's in your body is supposed to be in your body. And if you are of good health, your body won't attack the cells in your body, right? Of course, there are conditions where that's not the case. But your body is in good health, not going to attack the cells of your body. Now, if something invades from the outside and is not supposed to be there, the body will now attack that thing and try to get rid of it, or at least what is this and that kind of thing. Once there is an awful, that means it is a part of the body, the spirit body of the universe. It is supposed to be a part of the spirit body of the universe. Once a behavior, a person, an organization steps outside of the awful, that universe's immune system is the ogun, which will then attack that thing and get rid of it. Okay. So justice, the ancestral idea of justice is very interesting. But it's philosophical there, it's ethical, all that stuff. But one of the things I think that makes it unique to maybe the Western view, or maybe even the Eastern view, is that it is an element of nature. It exists in nature. It's one of the things in nature. You understand? It's just just like carbon dioxide and uh, methane gas and iron and stuff like that, right? It's an element of nature. It's a thing that exists in nature, and it shows itself all the time, right? We see it in things dropping. We see it in the concept of cause and effect. That is justice. That's justice, right? And then all of this is tied together by the fact that there's awful and ugu, right? Awful and ugu. So Afono governs all these different things and so forth. So that was a good ass question. Keep those coming, by the way. Now you're cooking. Somebody said I said that on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok's giving me a headache. 2/3 of the world is lactose intolerant. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So think about that. We're all lactose intolerant, but we're all trying to go to the land of milk and honey. You understand? I mean, it's because it's like, okay, so who's this for, right? Who's this for? You're gonna be up there just shitting and rolling over, holding your stomach? No, I don't know. But it's not for you, right? I go outside, it feels good. I'm not trying to go anywhere, especially when I'm back home. I'm not trying to go anywhere, right? But some people it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. It's almost like they're under attack. That attack I was talking about. That immune system attack. It's almost like, you know, all right, let me go hide out in the cave. Let me hide out in the cave, and then when it gets dark, I'll come out and I'll move the cows from here to there, and I get back in the cave when it gets hot, and that kind of thing, right? Yes. Hey man, I'm tripping, man. All right, so now they want to escape the universe as a well, math. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go to Mars. I gotta go to Mars. All right, go, 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 go. Vampires want to go to heaven in the end. Monroe, is that a reference to Sinners? Please, no spoilers. I mean, at this point, yeah, throw the spoilers in if there's spoilers. I don't think I'm gonna get to see it this year. I wish we lived in the age of discovery when we lived life by the needle of the compass rather than hands of a clock. Deep. Who said we're not in the age of discovery? There's still things to be discovered. Discovery is difficult because it requires you to accept or sorry, to have a paradigm and then say this isn't everything, there's something else, right? So even in the age of discovery, in most people's mind, what was known is what was all there is to be known, right? And then they go, no, I don't know about that. So same thing as now. The same thing as now. There's more to be known, right? The oceans have not been explored. Honestly, a lot of the continents have not been explored either. We're just assuming a lot of it or looking at it through satellite. Ethics is a human attempt at universal justice, exactly. And somewhere within us, we understand that we have to get this justice thing right, or else it's not gonna, that immune system thing is gonna happen. Somewhere within us, we understand that we have to get this justice thing right, or else that immune system thing will happen. We're no longer a part of the balance, we're no longer a part of the organism, right? Like Igbo land used to be self contained. Like philosophies applied to Igbos and other people don't exist. Wait, what? Be self contained. Like philosophies applied to Igbos and other people doesn't exist. Hmm. Diana, can you elaborate on the last part? Now, as far as self contained, yeah. So when we say Igbo, we say Yoruba, those are countries. Those are countries, okay? Those are countries. So yeah, they were all self contained. Or self-contained or sustained. It used to be self-contained philosophies and areas. Let me get your explanation to the comment before I answer. So yeah. Hey, I got you, land. We don't want to. The movie Sinners had an interesting spin on vampires. Couldn't help but think about the different types of ancestors, ones that came before. You know what? I gotta get to that theater and see this movie. I gotta get to that theater and see this movie. Is there cosmology on vampires immortality? Yeah, so when I first started my channel, uh one of the DBS, so not one of the main DBA that I was learning from and talking to and things like that, I'm not gonna share it on here because people are out of their mind, but he says that you can turn a person into a vampire. There's a procedure in the art in all for turning a person into a vampire. That is very possible. And he explained it. He gave me step by step, and I was just so yeah, yeah. We have an understanding of vampires as real. We have an understanding of vampires as real. I'm not going to share how it's done because it's grim. And I don't want somebody talking about on court talking about the guy on YouTube told me to do this. So I didn't mind. You can keep the milk. That's how I read this in a pimp voice. You can keep the milk. I'll take the honeys. All right. Drink. I didn't mind. All right, where are we at? You can keep the milk. I take the honeys. Oh shit! I wonder if pimps are still hilarious. I feel like that's like a Gen X boomer, early millennial kind of pimp. I wonder what they're like now. Oh shit! Is the body just a collection of atoms in agreement with the laws of one's agro? Yes. One's chi specifically, but sure. Yes. Yes. Creative force to the first one. And thus they are drawn together. Gravity, absolutely, yes. So the same DBA, funny enough, broke this down for me. And I talked about this, I think I talked about this in my more explained video, where the entire universe is this thing known as Ma, is this thing known as Ma, right? And the difference between Mado and Mo is that once your chi says this thing will exist, it all starts coming together in a single place. It all starts coming together. At the center, at its densest form, so that's Mado. And then there's a light form, a lighter, the stragglers, the ones that didn't reach the center, are floating around, and that's more. But essentially, he was telling me this to tell me that mud and more is all the same thing, right? That physical matter and spirit is the same thing. It's the same. It's just one's denser than the other. Okay, it's just like the sun and the rays of the sun. So from there, he was able to break down how, like for example, we say anyanwu nabara, right? Anyanwu is the sun, the abara is the power, the force, the light that comes from Anyanwu. It's the same way a human being is formed, where you get the physical, and then you have this ray, like the sun, that comes out, that is your more. Um, and you see that in everything. The Ofo Ugu. Trying to think of some other ones. Madu Mo Ofo Ugu. Chi Eke. Oh no, it's supposed to be Eke Chi, but they reversed it. So I don't know why. Sirius Ugo, me and him are supposed to have a conversation about that, but yeah, I didn't know. Okay, enough of my intellectual questions. Do you have any snow bunnies in the crib? No, no, I don't. I don't. Right, I don't have any snow bunnies in the crib. Can you please show if a person wants to be the kind of priest that fights and destroys evil witches? Damn. Which god would you recommend they venerate? It doesn't really work that way. Doesn't it's not Odinani is not, you don't choose a god to venerate. That's not really how it works. Your god, if you need a god, your god is your chi. Okay, if you need one, right? Now, God, chi, are they the same thing? Not really, but sure. Your God is your chi. Okay. So your chi is what you need to do whatever. If you were brought into this world and one of the things you're supposed to actualize is this fight against witches, your chi has already given you, what you need to fight those witches. If you are a dibia of any sort, you are going to work with agon. You're going to work with agon. You're going to work with that divine consciousness that was brought into this world to guide you towards the thing you're supposed to do and be. Okay. Um, yeah, that's it. Density has something to do with the speed of the particle movement. Interesting. Light temperature, dude. Guys, it sounds like you guys have gone quiet. Somebody asked me about snow bunnies, and everybody just went quiet. Lola, cool. You missed my question. Is vampire okay? Oh, my bad. Just glad you asked again, though. Hey, Angel the babe, good seeing you. Agumwani. You missed my question. Is vampire ubu ara obara nasusu anyi? I don't know how to say. I'm almost to. You guys say vampire nasusu Igbo. Muna nwe mama dem. So Marble, I'm trying to say, I'm not say vampire. So you get check out now because you when that's a simple. So anyway, so nke ma ga ebe nke gị ga-aga. So mụ na onwe m amadị m amahụ otu ị ga-asị vampire n'asụsụ Igbo. Amahụ. So I don't know. Dalu Duru until next time. I'll fall. Okay, I think it's time for us to hop. So this has been a good discussion, guys. Guys, we have 4 more seats for the language class for Igbo 1, the language class. So if you're interested in joining our summer session, uh, www.kedu.me. If you need time, message me. I'll see what I can do. And then if you're Ezume tier, you can just say, hey, reserve a seat for me. Try to say something within this week. Yeah, try to say something within this week because, I mean, with 4 left, you know. But yeah, so www.kedu.me if you're joining our language class. Summer is always the best time to learn language. Um, it's just the best time to learn. So www.kedu.me or patreon.com/the medicine shell. That being said not the Ndi nwere ọbara. Ndị nwere ọbara. That makes sense. Ndị nwere ọbara. So as always, unu ga-adị, unu ga-eto, nke ọbụla ahụ unu tiri aka, ọ ga-adị n'ụwa, ga-adị otu a na eke, n'orie, na afọ, na nkwọ. Ise, Jishikeno. Jishikeno. Why did I say it like that?